Let's pause for silence. Om. So we are studying the fifth chapter of this book, The Holocaust of Attachment. And we are on the second last topic, the mind wreaks havoc. And last week we covered the first 3 points of this topic, the mind wreaks havoc. See, just to recap what he is trying to tell us in this topic, when intellect is weak, mind takes over. So we all know that. You have heard this 10 times, 100 times. But how that overpowering of the intellect, when mind overpowers the intellect, how it affects each and every aspect of our life. So that's the analysis in this topic. So the first point was, throughout your life, you could be chasing a quantum of wealth because due to ignorance, you believe being rich means acquiring X amount of money. So it's not in the quantum. Richness and poverty is not in the quantum. When your desires they go beyond your income, you're poor. When your desires are within your income, you feel rich. So throughout your life, you could have this wonderful feeling of being rich or that miserable feeling of I'm poor. Nothing to do with quantum. So that is the first point. So how do you manage your income? How do you manage your wealth? Be frugal throughout your life. Opposite of being frugal is you're indulgent, excess of everything. And the second point we discussed was standardize your needs. It's a very practical way to manage your expenses. No? Otherwise, there is no end to it. Then the second point was you need to have self control. If your life is decided by your senses, you're in big trouble. So you should call the shots. So it's not frustrating yourself. You're not denying yourself anything. That's what usually people misunderstand. So it is command on your own senses. And then the second point in this second point was that you have to fight laziness as far as your body is concerned. And it's every single day we all have to fight it. So eat proper food and do proper exercise so that you can maintain your body throughout. I mean, I don't know how many of you were there for Swamiji's lecture in 2019, I think, in Manhattan, right? I mean, at the age of 94, he was traveling all over the world and he gave that talk. I think all of you must have seen that talk. So, from where do you get that kind of fitness? It's not a miracle, it's not a magic. He's also a human being, end of the day, like you and me. But you need to pay attention to your body right from the beginning. So, proper exercise, proper food. But mind prevents us from doing that. So, that's the point. Then, third point was at emotional level. There is a tendency to act on feelings and emotions, succumb to feelings and emotions. So, you act impulsively as opposed to using your intellect and then you decide the course of action. And also, you could be victimized by your own surface emotions just to please others. It's a common problem. Often people ask this, my spouse is saying like this, my children are saying like this, my friends, they want me to do a particular thing. So, just to please them, you act on surface emotions rather than your own convictions in life. So it is your intention behind the action that matters. If you understand this one line, your life will be smooth. It doesn't matter if you're managing home, business, or the whole nation or the whole world. This is the formula. It is your intention behind the action that matters. And ignorant people, they go by the action, they don't understand the intention. You may have the most benevolent intention, but it could be misconstrued by ignorant people just because you're not pleasing them. Like a child cries, mom, I want latest iPhone 17. I want latest, iPhone 17. Already child has whatever, 13, 14, 15. And there might be a commotion in the house. Oh, how can I hurt my child? In fact, somebody asked this question to me 2 or 3 years back. I mean, they had invited me to their place for dinner. And I explained this to them that daughter was, that's the word they used, like, blackmailing us. She wanted the latest iPhone when they had already given her the old iPhone, whatever it was that time, 11, 12 or something. So father is saying, me, if I don't give the latest iPhone to her, when she grows up, when she becomes an adult, she will blame us that you are terrible parents, you did injustice. So I explained to them exactly the same principle. I said, fine, you give her the latest iPhone. Is she going to be happy? Something else will come up. You take care of that, something else will come up. So it is the intention behind the action is important. Still, I remember that conversation with them 3 years back or 4 years back. And after that, they never invited me to their place. That was the end of everything, because they misunderstood that, what kind of a person this is, I mean, the poor thing, she's crying, she's creating a sin, I mean, it should be given to her. Simple example I'm giving you from day-to-day life. Same principle applies even in a complex situation. But you and I are not going to deal with a complex situation. Most of our situations are it's like routine. It's not going to be a conflict between righteousness and unrighteousness, and then you have to take a stance. But same principle applies. And that's the backdrop of Mahabharata. Those who are familiar with Bhagavad Gita, it was a clash of righteousness versus unrighteousness. We all know that Arjuna went by his surface emotions. That is where Krishna corrected him. So it could be a simple situation in your house, or it could be a complex situation as a decision maker, even in your own business, in your own profession. Principle is same. It is intention behind the action that matters. Don't succumb to your surface emotions just to please others. That's the problem. So these were the main points in the first three. Yeah. So are we okay with this? Any doubts? All right. So let's continue. Point number 4.
4. At the intellectual level, people adopt different political stances, mostly based on the mind's herd instinct to follow the masses. When the intellect is powerful, a person analyzes his political options and chooses that which he reckons most appropriate. But the general tendency among humans is to yield to the pressure of the mind. Thus, one takes to communism in a communist country, takes to capitalism in a capitalist country, so on. It is the play of the mind rather than one's intellectual discretion.
So at the intellectual level, you could be victimized by various biases, ideas, and ideologies. We are not saying this is right, that is wrong. It is for you to think, understand, analyze, and come to your own conviction, which has to be backed by logic and reason. But 99.99% people, they don't think. There is no thinking involved. So blindly you go by the herd instinct. Blindly you go by the majority, or you get influenced by so and so. So he's giving simple example. If you are born and brought up in America, you take to capitalism. We're not saying it is right or wrong. If you are born in a communist country, you believe that's the way of life. And then there is a clash going on. Hardly any thinking is involved. And so many biases. I'm just giving you one or two examples. Say right next to my house, there is a Tesla store. It's a walking distance actually. And I have to pass it every day, sometimes a few times in a day. On an average, twice a week, there's a major protest going on there. People are standing there with all sorts of placards and whatever they are saying. I'm not saying they are wrong. I mean, each one has his or her own opinion. But then you are disturbing the traffic. you're passing comments on the people who are passing by. It's all, there's no thinking. They believe in a particular thing. We are not saying it is wrong, but have you thought about it? So it creates disturbance in the society. To understand the repercussions, I'm giving you one or two biases. There could be so many biases. So it produces mental agitations, all these biases, and it could be detrimental to the society. The two consequences. First victim is you. You remain mentally disturbed. I think somebody asked this question yesterday, in the Bhagavad Gita class. And I mean, I appreciate that question. So on what basis we say they are wrong? And even if you know you're right, see, we have no jurisdiction to tell others what should be their belief, even if it is a wrong belief. Who are we to judge others? Who are we to pass comments on others? Let them have their own belief. So even if you are right, still it could produce mental agitations because you want others to toe your line. Oh, I'm right. So others should also follow my ideas and ideologies. So either way, you remain disturbed. And it creates unnecessary division and demarcations in our society. And sometimes it becomes very difficult, the day-to-day life. We saw that in America a few months back, all over the America and universities it happened. We don't take sides. But as a student of Vedanta, it is an education for us. Who is right, who is wrong, it is beyond the scope of this class. So I'm telling you the repercussions, how these ideas and ideologies, they could be detrimental to the normal functioning of a society, isn't it? So that is at the intellectual level. And then he talks about at the spiritual or religious level, when mind overpowers the intellect, what happens? So that is point number 5.
5. At the spiritual level, people with the mind dominating over a weak intellect take to the religion of their family. They succumb to blind belief and fanatic adherence to their particular religion. That has caused bitterness and antagonism in the society. As a result, the human race has reached a critical state. Therefore, to ensure success and progress in both your material and spiritual life, you need to take the expressway of your intellect to avoid the side lanes of the mind slipping into dire consequences.
So at religious level, what happens when mind overpowers the intellect? It doesn't need any explanation. All wars in the human history, most of the wars in the human history have been fought because of the misunderstanding of the religion. Hardly anybody has a clue of what his or her religion is, isn't it? All the major battles, you look at the human history, genocides after genocides, destruction after destruction have been done in the name of religion. Not true religion, complete misunderstanding of religion. What is true religion? Nobody knows. You take away blind belief, blind faith, superstition, and mechanical rituals. You take away these 3 things, there is no religion left. And true religion or any religion is based on its philosophy. And that philosophy is nothing but eternal truths of life and living, which is same, which has to be same. How can it be different? When we say Sanatana Dharma or eternal truths, by definition, it is same. But hardly anybody knows the knowledge, this philosophy of any religion, and we all are fighting with each other. So these are the main points that what happens when mind overpowers the intellect. So therefore, he says you need to take the expressway of your intellect to avoid the sidelines of the mind slipping into dire consequences. So you could be victimized by all five or one or two. This is what you need to understand. You may not be a religious fanatic, but you could be victimized by the senses. You could be disciplined as far as your senses are concerned, but you may be victimized by your own emotions. So somewhere or the other, it creeps into your life, the mind. So therefore, you need powerful intellect, and that's what we all are trying to do in this forum. And therefore, he talks about the necessity of fortifying the intellect. So that's the next topic, fortify the intellect. So are we okay? So the next topic, fortify the intellect. See, this is for you to understand. It is not for me to explain here. I will give you main points, but I would say this could be a good homework for you. Go home today or tomorrow when you are fresh. Read this topic and you can bring it up. When we have these discussion forums, you can discuss it, something or the other from this topic, or you can directly ask the question to me when we have question and answer session. Yeah, Preeti has a question.
Yes. Namaste, Amitji.
Yeah,
Uh,
hi Preeti.
Hi. I have a question. So this came up a couple days ago when we were going with my daughter, who is, athlete, and she has a strong opinion about things, and she's a strong personality in by all means. And we were talking about the religion. Of course, I have brought up with the Sanatan Hindu religion, so I have my beliefs.
Mhm.
When I chant mantras, I feel like we are getting positive energy and all that. But kids here, like she follows when I tell her when she's going out, do the prayer, or just, do the prayer and leave. Don't just leave like that. And she would do it, she would follow it. But then we were talking about it, and I say, when you do mantra, you get positive energy around this and all that. And she's like, Mom, I know you are influencing me to follow that religion. And I was like, no, I want you to have a faith, some kind of faith in God, that there is a supreme power who help us. If you're in trouble or something, there is no one around. At least you should have a faith that somebody's going to be there who's taking care of you, in a simplest language. And she's like, yeah, but I can do my own research. I think you are telling. And she started joking, okay, I'm going to follow the Buddhism. And then I started laughing. But the point is that she's like, if I want to follow what you following, I will do my own research. And when I find something that influenced me, that's when I'm going to follow. For a second, I felt hurt that, like, oh my God, she's not going to follow the religion. But at the same time, after you talking about this, it makes me think that she has a valid point, that she should do the research. She should believe in what she wants to believe, as, for example, in this case, it's a religion. And now it makes me feel that I think it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, her speaking up about this and telling me that, yeah, I will do my research. I have to believe in this. So she's using her intellect, basically, before just blindly following the religion.
Yeah,
Is that.
correct. Correct. So, I mean, it's a classic example of daughter using the intellect and mother not using her intellect at all. Zero.
Hmm.
zero intellect as far as you are concerned,
Right.
completely mind based,
Right.
just towing the lines of the predecessors. So
Correct.
your daughter has the courage and
Correct.
conviction to think, and this is
Yes.
what we are learning here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you should be happy
I'm
that
very
you got
happy
a
actually.
daughter who is who has an intellect.
Yes.
So where
Right.
is the problem?
Yeah, so it's not really a problem. I'm just pointing that out that, after you talking about this topic, it makes me feel good about it. That, yes, she's using her intellect. She's not going to follow the religion just blindly. And I just wanted to bring out more things that a religion, or, I don't know if we even call Sanatan Dharma as a religion. Whatever we have learned and the studies that I'm doing, there are good things out there. I just wanted to highlight that thing. And I don't think that was a problem, but at the time I thought it was a problem. Today I don't think it's a problem now. So thank you for bringing that out.
See, Preeti, your intention is good. I mean, don't get
Yes.
me wrong,
Yes.
but you cannot impose anything
Yes.
on others, including
Yes.
your own family members. This is
Correct.
what people they do. Of
Yes.
course, you are 100% right, but though you are right, still you're wrong.
Correct.
You get my point?
Yes, and that's what I have realized today.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what you need to do is just like expose them to this knowledge, which is your obligation as a
Correct.
parent. I'm not saying you don't expose your daughter to this knowledge, but the
Yes.
problem is, see, this is what religion has been reduced to: blind faith,
Yes.
superstitious beliefs,
Yeah.
mechanical rituals.
Correct.
I repeat, any religion has been reduced to blind faith, superstitious beliefs, and mechanical rituals.
Right.
So you take away these three things, there is nothing left. And religion has got nothing to do with all these three.
Correct. I
So
totally
that's what
agree.
youngsters, they have the intellect. So they are not able to relate to what is happening because of religion in the society. They see all chaos, they see confusion, they see fights, they see all madness going on. So any thinking person, your daughter belongs to that category. She is
Yes.
not able to relate to it. So therefore, she's saying, no, let me find out. So what
Yes.
she's looking for actually is a knowledge, which you
Correct.
don't get. You go to a place of worship, you go to places where they teach religion, you're not going to get the knowledge. I mean, it's very rare. So the right way to approach would be to gift her Swamiji's books.
Yes.
No Bhagavad Gita, no Upanishad, no nothing. What is her age?
She's 22.
Yeah, so the right book would be The Fall of the Human Intellect. That's the book meant for the youngsters. You can
Okay.
give her all four books as a gift, and it's
Right.
up to her. Then you
Yes.
have done your obligation as a mother,
Yes.
and also you have you will do your religious or spiritual obligation when
Yes.
you gift these books to her. And that's it.
Yes.
Don't no follow up, no nothing. Don't ask her, did you read? What do you think? You just give it to her. And after
Yes.
that, between her and the providence. So the
Yes.
fall of the human intellect, holocaust of attachment is what we are studying.
Correct.
Governing business and relationships, and Vedanta treaties the eternity. So we recommend these four books. I mean, we all keep on giving gift to each other.
Right.
Best gift is these four books.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
sure, I mean, that's what she could be looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I really like that. I'm glad that I have joined this class and I'm listening to Bhagavad Gita. So there is a different aspect to it that's giving it to me. I have born in the religion. If you call this a religion, Sanatan Dharma to me is not just a religion, it's a practice, right? But I just wanted to understand what is the best way to convey that message without imposing that just as a ritual or but just because I born into it, you do it too. And that's the pressure we were born and raised with, kind of unknowingly.
Right. So the best is gift her these four books.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Thank
it.
you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Welcome. Are we okay? The group? Yeah. So the last topic, fortify the intellect.
Fortify the intellect. The neglect of the intellect has devastated the world. The damage caused to individuals, communities, and nations has been colossal. The human race has to be restructured with the restoration of the intellect. To reinstate the intellect of the masses is a monumental undertaking. The restructuring cannot be handled by individuals or institutions. It requires the immediate attention and action of international, governmental, and educational bodies. However, the base has to be prepared initially. The world needs to be brought back to a level of sanity even before launching on the program of rehabilitating the intellect. Here are some guidelines to check certain insane expressions of the mind.
So what he's saying in effect, that you and I cannot bring about this change in the society. See, en masse, mind has overpowered the humanity. This doesn't need any explanation. Just look at the world, what is happening. Everywhere you see there is conflict, there is war, there is anarchy, there is terrorism. Individually, relationships are falling apart. Stress, strain, depression. So, what's happening? So, you and I understand after reading this knowledge that mind has overpowered our personality all over the world. But then, how much you can do? What can you and me do? It has to be handled at the international level, at international bodies. See, that's the ultimate solution, and he talks about that. Like United Nations, they have their own university. So they should introduce this course, the basic books. Then only it will reach to all the corners of the world. But you and I don't have the capacity to do that. We don't have the logistics, we don't have the power to do that. Yes, you and I may do whatever is possible. This is what we are doing. But ultimately, the international bodies, they have to understand, first of all, that this is the problem. And then on the war footing, it has to be done. But before you launch on that program, you need basic discipline of the mind. So that's what he's telling us. So mind has become licentious, especially in this part of the world. So that has to be controlled to begin with. So this is what he is telling us. So can we have the next paragraph, please?
People the world over are indiscriminately running after wealth. Earning wealth is not the problem, but its pursuit ought not to escalate to greed, avarice, craving for amassing wealth. The English poet Oliver Goldsmith warns human beings, where wealth accumulates, men decay. The greed for wealth has driven business houses, banks, and financial institutions to borrow or lend limitlessly. The global financial crashes occurring over and over again speak eloquently of this human weakness of lust, greed, avarice. This has adversely affected the lives of people all over the world. Yet there has been no investigation, much less action taken to avoid such periodic financial debacles. The world has been upbraided by the mind's uncontrollable desires. Those desires have to be carefully monitored by external rules and regulations even before attempting globally to develop the human intellect.
It's a very broad analysis. So, what is happening in the financial sector? We all know that there are set of people who completely hijack the financial market because of that greed, because of that avarice. So there has to be strong monitoring of such people. Otherwise, it is not possible. See, if punishment is so severe, I mean, you dare not do it, isn't it? See, often I go to Toronto from Detroit. I mean, 2-3 times in a year. I drive because initially I was based there. So still there are some well-wishers. They want to interact with me about this subject. So the moment you cross border and you enter the Canadian side, they have written on a board like fines for overspeeding. So if you go, let's say, more than 20 below the posted speed limit, they mention there is X amount of fine, let's say $1,000. If you go 30 above the posted speed limit, there is $5,000 fine. If you go, let's say, 40, there is, I think, $10,000 fine. If you go more than that, then you could be arrested, your vehicle could be confiscated, you could go to prison. So who will do that? Its posted speed limit is 100 kilometers and you are driving at 170, and if you get caught, I mean, your life is over. I mean, you could get into big trouble. So you dare not overspeed to that extent. Are you following what I'm trying to say? So there has to be that external imposition to begin with. And once intellect is developed, you don't need these posted speed limits. I mean, you will drive with responsibility. But that is in an ideal world. The real world, it doesn't happen because most people, the intellect is not developed. So that's what is happening in the financial sector. Crashes after crashes. The people who are doing scams after scams, all parts of the world, isn't it? So there has to be some external mechanism, solid punishment that they dare not do it. Second example could be all the indulgences which are freely available in this part of the world. I had gone to Ann Arbor few months back because we had a lecture there, public lecture. So Radha, Vijay, Jigar, all of our group, they will know what I'm talking about. So many shops I noticed, they are selling recreational drugs freely. I'm not saying it is right or wrong. Don't, it is beyond our jurisdiction. So if I'm a 17-year-old boy, if I see recreational drugs available, chances are, what are the chances? If my intellect is not developed, definitely I may get attracted to that. So it is freely made available. Are you getting my point? So when I was in 4th grade, my uncle, he took me to Bombay airport to see Boeing 747. He was in Air India and he was in a senior position. And that time it was freely allowed. There was no security or nothing. And if you're working in Air India, you bring anybody and it's a guided tour of airport, go inside the aircraft and all that. So 747, that time it was a big craze. And I still remember all the seats, where you rest your hand, what do you call that? Hand rest. They had an ashtray and very stylish. It used to go down. I don't know how many of you remember. No, I think this must have happened 35, 40 years back. So everybody used to smoke. can you imagine somebody smoking on the aircraft now? What will be our reaction? Even in toilet, you dare not go and smoke e-cigarette. Forget about cigarette with the tobacco. But that time it was allowed in a public place. You could easily smoke. So I think he's giving that example somewhere. So it took such a long time to impose that restriction. Otherwise, we all would have been smoking. You know, New York to Mumbai. I mean, I would end up smoking a packet of cigarette. I'm just giving it as an example. You know? So that external imposition is required. Never send your husband alone to Las Vegas. All ladies, they should, you know. I'm not getting into the details. I mean, you can't blame men. I mean, how can you blame them? This, that is called as licentiousness. So it is freely available for anybody. This is the problem. If intellect is developed, doesn't matter. You could be in any part of the world. You will not be tempted. But have we reached that state is a question. Gambling is freely available. So naturally, you will succumb to it. So that's what he means. Those desires have to be carefully monitored by external rules and regulations even before attempting globally to develop the human intellect. A mind has to be available to develop the intellect. See, this study reflection requires X amount of mind, you know. If your mind is going all over the place, I mean, how can you even make an attempt to study this knowledge? Isn't it? So it's a very broad analysis for you to think. I'm just throwing certain points at you. Next point, very important, especially for Indians. There are a lot of Indians here.
Another aberration of human behavior in India is the vulgar exhibition of wealth, particularly in the weddings conducted by opulent families. Even those who can ill afford such lavish display borrow heavily, indiscriminately for the purpose. It is an offshoot of the parents' attachment for their children where the intellect plays no part. This promiscuous show of wealth springing from excessive attachment has to be banned to bring about some sanity among humans. Such indiscriminate and uninhibited use of wealth has become competitive and contagious, a great fall from human dignity and culture.
So in any society, it is applicable. But why he is talking about especially India and Indian community? Because it has become like a cancer. If you don't believe in me, attend any Indian wedding. I can help you do that. Jigar can be in charge of that. Vijay could be in charge of that. You know, there is some grand Indian wedding, they will take you. So vulgar display of wealth. Forget about wedding. Even graduation ceremonies, they are like weddings. Personally, I've been to one or two such graduation ceremonies. Where parents, they spent minimum $500,000. When I say this, I'm not exaggerating. 1,500 people, and they give contract, you know, what do you call that? Wedding managers. So what is the term for that?
Event management.
Event management. 1,500 people to feed them, and champagne and whatnot. Just a graduation we are talking about. Imagine what will be happening in the wedding. It's a vulgar display of wealth. Even if you have, you should be disciplined. And those who don't have, they want to emulate. There are people who borrow money to conduct grand weddings. So therefore, he's saying it should be banned. And the joke Swamiji says, if I become the prime minister of country, the first order, executive order I will pass is there should not be more than 20 people in a wedding. And where he got that 20 figure, I mean, when he was studying in London, Swamiji as a student, he went to Germany to attend the wedding of one of his clients. So he came from a very rich business family. So he attended the wedding of a daughter. I mean, her father was one of the wealthiest person in Germany, and there were only 20 people for the wedding. Those who are doing e-learning, they will know what I am talking about. So those whose children are already married, is too late. Now, what can you do? At least for your grandchildren, you have no control. Let your children do whatever they want to do. Gift these 4 books to them. That's the best gift you can give them. And those whose children are not yet married will find out. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line. For Vijay and Raji, test is coming soon. I mean, still is far off. Maybe 5 years, 10 years. I'm sure we'll be doing the same book after 10 years. So we'll see whether to give Vijay's example that time. Or the good exam in a positive or negative sense. I don't know. Or Jigar, like 20 more years, right? So we'll see after 20 years what happens. Veera's test is coming soon. So therefore, he's not looking at the camera. He's looking down. So let's see. In 6 months or 1 year, or it could be next week. I don't know. Let's find out. And he gives the thought flow continues, the attachment that parents bear. Yeah. Carry on.
The attachment that parents bear for their children further complicates their life by pampering them to indulge indiscriminately in sensual pleasures. The society also provides amenities and facilities for freely indulging in sensual activities, all resulting in the loss of control and direction among the youth. The youth are denied the intellect or the guidance of elders to avoid the evil of promiscuous indulgences in life. Smoking has been banned in public places by governments all over the world. It took them several decades to implement the ban. Why do they not investigate and ban other such gross indulgences? It has become a global issue. It calls for the intervention of international bodies like the United Nations Organization to investigate and check its widespread damage. That would serve as a caution and help the youth to avoid their licentious lifestyle. While the governing bodies thus set the level of human sanity, the educational systems must initiate the program of building the fallen intellect.
So already discussed. So please continue.
The educational systems around the world are all directed to gain just information and knowledge, to merely build intelligence. Nowhere has there been, except the Vedanta Academy in India for the last 25 years, a program to rehabilitate the fallen intellect. The need of the hour is to start Vedanta academies all over to implement the time-tested program of developing the human intellect. Veda in Sanskrit means knowledge. Anta means end. Thus, Vedanta indicates the ultimate knowledge. Considering the magnitude of this operation, the governmental and educational bodies cannot handle it. It has to be initiated by international bodies like the United Nations Organization. The United Nations University runs several courses except this vital program of developing the human intellect. Those in charge of the UNO themselves need to go through this process of development. 8 such courses completed in the Vedanta Academy has produced phenomenal results. Now it calls for the United Nations University to introduce this course worldwide to resurrect the human intellect and save the world from self-destruction. The Vedanta Academy will be happy to extend its services to implement the program worldwide.
See,
The UN.
four books, there is no other way. We keep on mentioning the fall of the human intellect, the Holocaust of attachment, governing business and relationships, and Vedanta treatise, the eternities. So these are like neutral books. You can't introduce Bhagavad Gita or Upanishad. I mean, it's end of the day, it is same. It's nothing but Sanatana Dharma. That's the word Preeti used. Vedanta is nothing but Sanatana Dharma, meaning eternal principles of life and living. So how can any human being live his or her life without this knowledge? That's the ultimate solution. This knowledge has to be introduced. But you and I cannot do that. But damage is so widespread, it cannot be done at our level. Though you may mean well, you may want to do, means we don't have that kind of power or financial support. And he continues.
The UNO, governmental and educational institutions would need to invest time and effort to understand and digest this extraordinary program with their existing intellect. That would need humility on the part of the investigators and an awareness of the present predicament which humanity faces. But people around the world cannot afford to wait for the ultimate solution. They need to start the program of rehabilitating the intellect individually in their own homes. That would involve the study of Vedanta daily in the early hours of the morning.
So underline these last few lines. They need to start the program of rehabilitating the intellect individually in their own homes. So forget about what's happening outside. You may get inspired, but then also you may get dejected. No, what can I do? The best way to begin is you change yourself. That's it. And when you change yourself, when you transform your personality, automatically people around you, they will be inspired. If parents take to this knowledge, at some stage it will be passed on to their children. We have seen so many examples, isn't it? I can talk about like Michigan, the Detroit area. I think 80 to 90% of the children, they got inspired to study this knowledge in their own way because their parents took to this knowledge. So first you change yourself. You bring about that transformation. And by your example, by your inspiration, others will be automatically inspired. And of course, you can do your bit. You can introduce this knowledge to your contacts, your friends, your colleagues, your relatives. And gifting books is the best way to begin with. We all give gifts to each other. The best gift you can give to anybody is these books. You want to organize talks. I'm just giving you few examples. What can you and I do within our capacity? At home, you can collect 20, 25 people on a weekend, organize a talk. In your workplace, you can organize a talk. We have so many topics for corporate sector, and it's happening throughout the world. It is happening. There's so many youth programs which are happening. Personally, we have conducted at least, I don't know, for 8 to 10 years in Michigan. India, in Vedanta Academy, every year there are 2 youth retreats. Radha's daughter has been there, both the daughters. Vijay has sent his older son. There's so many examples I can think of. So it's not that you don't do anything. This is within your capacity. So if there are 25, 30 of us here, if each one puts efforts, imagine the kind of rippling effect it will have on the society, isn't it? So there is a lot you and I can do. It's not that you cannot do anything, but for that, you have to improve your personality. Your intellect has to be developed. So study this topic is not meant for too much of explanation. If you understand the seriousness of what is happening, how can you not share this knowledge with others, isn't it? You are healthy, others are not healthy. I mean, how can you keep quiet? You are enjoying best of health. There are people who don't even have the basic health. How can you keep quiet? So that concludes this chapter, chapter 5. So any quick questions? We have a few minutes from this chapter. Yes, sir.
One question. You mentioned about 20 people inviting on any party like graduation or wedding. Suppose my intellect says yes, I can afford it without borrowing money from somebody else, and I have so many friends and relatives, and I like to invite more than 50 or 100 people, and my intellect says yes, you can afford it. So is there anything wrong in it?
Display of
There is nothing right and wrong. It's not that you should not celebrate, first of all. See that I am giving that number 20, Swamiji gives that 20 number just for us to think. It could be 30, it could be 40, it could be 50, doesn't matter. As long as it is not vulgar display of wealth.
So as long as you're not displaying your wealth, it should be okay.
Vulgar display of wealth. People do that to display their wealth. You get my point?
Got it.
I mean, what is vulgar display of wealth? I mean, it's a common sense. It doesn't need any explanation. So it's not that you should not invite anybody. I mean, what kind of a wedding it will be? Just bride and a bridegroom. Obviously, there will be people, there will be friends, but not to the extent. I mean, some of the weddings I have attended in India, 5,000, 10,000 people.
5,000?
As a 17-year-old boy, I attended a wedding in India. My friend's sister got married. It lasted for 4 or 5 days. And when that procession comes, they come on a horse and they are dancing. I don't know. I mean, every few feet they were throwing 500 rupee notes. And later on, I came to know they threw some 5 lakhs or 7 lakhs. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That is vulgar display of wealth. But like nice little community, 20 people, 40 people, 50 people get together. Of course, why not?
Thank you.
See, again, I mean, there is no do's and don'ts. This is the point. 30 may be the right number for you. Vijay may feel 50 is right. So whatever his intellect allows. Jigar's intellect may say, no, I think I need to invite 60 people. It's okay. But use your intellect, think and do it. The bottom line is no vulgar display of wealth. Like Shakespeare says, rich but not gaudy. It's a beautiful way he puts it. How you manage your, he says like it's not that you need to scrounge yourself. Costly thy habits as thy purse can buy. Rich, not gaudy. Fascinating. Costly thy habits as thy purse can buy, but rich, not gaudy. So amazing guideline he is giving.
Thank you.
Polonius's advice to his son. It is in Hamlet. Any other question? Any other doubts? From India, any doubts?
Oh, we'll have a training from India.
Charu, she attends from India.
Wow.
Americans are clear. I don't know what's happening in India.
Oh, we'll see. No doubt as of now.
All right, so have a good weekend. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Amit.
Amitji.
Thank you, Amitji. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mhm.